Fanfic Corner, presented by Jennifer. Nala's Tears, Chapter 17. Okay, before we get started, I'd just like to say one thing, and that is if you have not yet seen the first few videos for Nala's Tears, I suggest you go view those now, as this is a continuation of that story. After my talk with Tama, she returned into the cave to find Kula. I decided that I needed some space from Pride Rock. Although I was still technically a cub, I was allowed to wander. In the last few moons, my legs had lengthened and my body had started to mature. I was starting to look less like a cub and more like a lioness. I traveled down the rocky slope and skidded a little bit, sending rocks clattering to the bottom. From behind me, I heard someone trailing me. When I glanced over my shoulder, I saw that it was Malka. "Nala, wait up!" He raced down the slope and we reached the bottom at the same time. "Hey, where are you going?" His red eyes looked hopeful, as if there had never been any awkwardness between us. That's how it usually was these days. As soon as he was out of Scar's reach, he returned to the sweet Malka that I knew. "I'm just going for a walk," I told him carefully, unsure of how to act around him. Malka stepped closer so that we were shoulder to shoulder. "Can I come? It's been a while since we've gone on an adventure." I opened my mouth to speak, but no words came out. Then came Mitsu sliding down the rocky slope. My little brother's green eyes lit up when he saw us. "Nala, Malka, where are you going? Can I come, please?" Malka and I exchanged an amused look. Why not have both of them come with me? It might be fun. Besides, I miss them both. "Sure, Mitsu, you can come with us." "Yes!" Miku exclaimed, bouncing ahead of us. The young cub stayed ahead of Malka and me, but always within seeing distance. We simply followed the trail through the Pride Lands, heading nowhere in particular. While Mitsu chased grasshoppers, Malka and I walked slower, side by side. "So, how have you been, Nala?" Malka asked me softly. In his eyes, I saw his worry. He feared that he's let me down, which he has. "You already know the answer, Malka," I replied a little sharply. "Do you still believe that Scar is a great king?" Malka flattened his ears. "He's just under a lot of pressure, Nala. Being king isn't easy, and he was left with a difficult legacy to follow." My fur stood on end, and I glanced angrily at Malka. "He's managed to drag Mufasa's legacy through the mud. Why do you listen to him, Malka?" For a moment, Malka didn't answer me. When he finally did speak, I could see that he was torn up. "Nala." Suddenly, from up ahead, a scream split the air. It was Mitsu. Without thinking, I raced towards the sound of Mitsu's scream with Malka at my heels. I hadn't realized how close we were to the elephant graveyard. In front of me, the ground fell into a gigantic hole, and I skidded to a stop to prevent me from falling in. Malka barely stopped in time to prevent from colliding with me. We both stared down at the yawning hole. It was so dark down there, we couldn't see anything. "Mitsu!" I shouted for my brother, but he didn't answer. "Mitsu?" Anxiety and fear caused my heart to race. I glanced at Malka. "He's got to be down there, Malka. What are we going to do?" Malka peered over the edge as I grew more hysterical. "I don't think it's as deep as it looks. Stay here. I'm going down there." He started towards the edge, but I blocked his path. "Are you crazy? Mitsu is my brother," I growled at him, showing him my fangs. "If anyone's going down there after him, it's me." Sighing, Malka stepped aside. "Fine, we'll both go down." I pricked my ears, a little surprised that he gave in so easily. "But I'm going first." Narrowing my eyes at him, I wanted to protest, but I didn't. All that mattered was that I could help Mitsu. Malka approached the edge where the slope was the least steep. He started to slide down, trying to find a grip. I followed after him and found how impossible it was to control my descent. How are we going to get back up? It got dark real quick, and I didn't see Malka until I collided with him at the bottom. We rolled over each other until we finally stopped. He landed on top of me, our faces were only a whisker's length apart. For a moment, my pelt grew hot with embarrassment, and my heart started racing. But then Malka got up. We had to find Mitsu. My eyes slowly adjusted to the darkness as I looked around. The dirt and rocks seemingly collapsed into the tunnel. There was a pile of rubble, and I immediately raced over. If Mitsu was at the bottom, he was probably hurt. Malka followed my lead, and we started to dig. The rubble blocked off one part of the tunnel. "Mitsu!" I gasped when my paw brushed against his. Malka helped me dig my brother out. He was unconscious when we pulled him from the rubble. His pale fur was streaked with mud and blood. "Oh no, Mitsu!" He wasn't moving. I couldn't even tell if he was breathing or not. A strangled cry escaped my lips, and I lowered my head as the tears trailed down my cheeks. Mitsu couldn't be dead. He was so young and had so much life ahead of him. I let him down. What would I tell Sarafina? Then Mitsu let out the tiniest moan as his eyelids fluttered open. I watched as my little brother fully opened his eyes and looked around the dark tunnel. He looked so disoriented, but he calmed when he saw my face. "Nala?" Mitsu asked hoarsely. "Shh," I nuzzled my brother happily. Then I looked at Malka. "How are we going to get him back?" We'll have to support him between the two of us, Malka observed. These tunnels must lead to somewhere. I guess all we can do is keep going. Nodding in understanding, I nudged Mitsu and then helped him to his paws. I realized in relief that his wounds were shallow. He would be fine as long as we got back to the Pride. Malka and I helped Mitsu along the way as we ventured deeper into the tunnels.